Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanson. Welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. We'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a great show for you guys here. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. So I came across a clip yesterday, a sit down that Phil Jackson had on the Dan Patrick show. And it was an absolute treat for me because you seldom hear from Phil Jackson on anything. But while he was there, Dan Patrick decided to ask him about some of what was said in the aftermath of the Last Dance docuseries. As you guys know, one person in particular that wasn't happy with with Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan, to be frank with you, was one Scottie Pippen. And he didn't hide his feelings about that when he went on this very Dan Patrick show. I think he was promoting some type of liquor that day, and he absolutely went off on Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan. It was pretty nuts. But one of the things that upset Scottie Pippen was the fact that MJ highlighted some of the low moments in his career, and one of them was when he refused to go back in Game 3. I think it was in the Eastern Conference Finals. I remember exactly when. And that was kind of viewed as a stain on his legacy. And he was very, very upset about that. Well, what we didn't know was that apparently in the aftermath of that taking place, Michael Jordan called Phil Jackson in private to basically express what he thought about Scottie refusing to re-enter the game and how he felt it would impact his legacy negatively. For those of you who never heard this is the first time I'm ever hearing this. I want to play it for you now, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to the sound here.
Phil, over the years, it feels like your relationship with Scottie Pippen has been complicated. Can you expound upon that?
Well, I was assistant coach when Scottie came into the game, and I played with him and against him one-on-one and tried to help his game out a little bit. And I was big in promoting Scottie because, we had Scottie coming off the bench, and I had to sub in as a coach for Doug Collins when he got thrown out of a game. And that was like the immediate thing I did. I put Scottie in the game and up the pressure defense because this is one of the best defensive players ever to play the game. So I had a lot of admiration for him and had a lot of contact with him. He was the on-court guy that I alerted all the time when defensive strategies would come, double teams, traps, etc. Whistle, hey, Scottie, it's time, whatever. So, yeah, it was shocking to hear the comments that he made. But he had a situation that was coming off the bench, not being able to play the last few seconds of a basketball game that was critical, and it made a big change in his life. Michael called the next day from baseball and said, I don't know if Scottie will ever be able to live this down, and I think it's been a hard thing to live down. Refusing to go in a ball game because things didn't go your way.
Excellent. So you heard what Phil Jackson had to say about the private conversation that him and Michael Jordan had. What are my thoughts about this? I think that Jordan is saying something that a lot of people felt. And I do kind of see those people that said, oh, Jordan shouldn't have put that in the last. Look, here's my thing. It would have been one thing if the Last Dance docuseries was all about the highs in Michael Jordan's career, all of the positive moments, and he was highlighting the lows and everybody else and his teammates. But he also highlighted the lows of his career as well. So that's the part that, if he's willing to talk about his dirty laundry and show himself in a light that he said he wasn't so sure he would be comfortable of people seeing him that way, then who are you? Now, some people are saying, well, just leave that part out, man. Just talk about the positive. No, because you're not really telling the story. You're not really telling the story. You're not telling the story properly. You're just picking the nice parts, but you're not giving the whole picture. You're not talking about the low moments. You just want to talk about the high moments. It's like, come on, knock it off. You got to tell the full story. Now, some people say, "Oh, Jordan, this is about Jordan, and Jordan made it." Look. Let me just say this, okay? Let's just say this. All right, let me just say this. Did MJ win all those titles on his own? No. But let's not get it confused. Michael Jordan was a supernova, right? We've never seen anything like that guy since. Before he got to the Chicago Bulls, they were a nothing of an organization, an absolute nothing. And I know back then, especially with that organization, they really believed in the separation of church and state, by meaning that management felt, we're going to handle our job. You're not going to have any interference in what we're doing. And you guys as the players are going to play you're going to do your roles. Do your roles, right? So the role that Jordan performed, as being the leader of the players, he led them. And some people can question his leadership methods, but they worked. He was able to extract extraordinary success with applying his method of leadership. That's one part. The second part that I think a lot of these guys have to come to terms with the fact that Jordan is the reason. Let's just keep it a bean for a second. We would not care about most of these guys if they didn't play with Michael Jordan. And some of his former teammates who participated in the Last Dance docuseries understood this. They understood what role they played in the grand scheme of things. We're still talking about Scottie Pippen to this day because he was Michael Jordan's teammate. This is the fact that nobody wants to embrace. There have been other top 75 players. Do you see us talking about them on a daily basis? No. But Jordan keeps everybody's name relevant. For goodness sake, they were even, I think, going on a No Bulls tour to kind of like a rebuttal tour of what took place in the like, come on, the people want to hear because Michael Jordan's name is attached to it. Like, what are we talking about here? So people are like, oh, you gave Jordan too much of the spotlight. I'm confused. Like, I'm confused. Was it not him that was selling all those shoes, or was it you? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, it almost seems like people are overestimating the impact that they had. And Jordan, in my personal view, always gave Scottie Pippen his credit. Always. Especially publicly. Always. You can't pull up a clip of Jordan just saying outright negative things about him. You can't. Right? You can't unless you go to the Last Dance docuseries when you say, well, that was a selfish move. But didn't he say nice things about him? Or is it that, I'm confused here. I'm confused. So to me, man, look, I think what Jordan said ended up being the truth. Because even if we didn't know that Michael Jordan had this conversation with Phil Jackson, everybody felt the same way. And deep down, I think Scottie Pippen knows that was the wrong thing to do. Hence the reason he's so angry about it. Because if it was the right thing to do, you stand by it. You will stand by it. You would stand by it. So to me, man, look, like, people need to understand, like, what like, people need to come to grips with reality here. Like, it's Michael Jordan, bro. Like, come on. Like, come on. Knock it off. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.